left Christianity, some things I learned that I still think are important, or Christianity taught me the exact opposite was important. And I still believe in some healthy principles that Christianity has. I just don't think they're inherently Christian or religious. For me, number 31, I reject patriarchal structures. Now, this is one of the things that drove me as far away from religion and Christianity as possible. Because any institution that was created, institutionalized, and protected the sovereignty and white male privilege like Christianity is not something I want to be a part of. Patriarchal institutions, their entire goal is to control, influence, dehumanize, and escape accountability. And it's all about infantilization. To infantilize something means to view something that's not childish in a childish way. So when in patriarchy, women are basically viewed as though they're young infants. When you don't see more than half of the population as fully functional, 100% human, adult individuals with autonomy, sovereignty, and agency, you don't have to take accountability for how you treat them. This is why in pornography, men jack up the numbers of views for any porn videos or content that shows the receiving sexual partner as someone who is under the age of 18. Even though, hopefully, the videos involved the woman is 18 plus. Even people in their 20s can be compelled to dress and behave in ways that are well below the age of 18. Because men really want adolescence. And the reason why men like pornographic material that has adult women dressing as very young teenage girls is because they are attracted to people whose frontal lobe hasn't matured. They don't have life experience. They don't know what's good or bad for them. They don't. When you have the mentality and brain capability of a 14-year-old girl, you don't know the dangers of the world. And you cannot consent because you can't comprehend what consenting is or how it will affect you now and down the road. And this is why the patriarchy is terrible. It keeps men from maturing and gaining emotional accountability. Men in the patriarchy suffer because they're never forced to grow up in a consistent way. You wonder why men kill women when they won't give them their phone number? Because the patriarchy babies men. Patriarchy doesn't make men grow up into healthy, consistent individuals. That's why men are so entitled. The patriarchy babies men to where they want a wife that's just like their mother, not a fully functioning woman with her own opinion. And until we force society to teach men to be who they are, to take accountability and stop viewing the majority of people on this planet, usually women, as meat or little girls, we won't have a safe society. That's why men love to infantilize people. If somebody isn't an adult, they can escape accountability. And the majority of men on this planet don't see women as fully human. They see women the way they see children. Convenient assets. And the patriarchy has always been set up to function in a way that controls and isolates women. The patriarchy is so effective. The people who are most likely to defend teach and uphold the patriarchy isn't men, it's women. That's why women compete against each other, because the patriarchy sets women up to fight among themselves, not against men, because the patriarchy doesn't want women to be a united front. They want them to mistrust everyone. And the moment all women rise up together, men would be out of luck. They wouldn't be in charge, because women always outnumber men by population. Because every human being starts out being a woman during conception. Genetics and luck decides if a woman turns into a man. So yeah, patriarchy is all about the hating of anyone who isn't toxic masculine. That's why the patriarchy hates gay people and trans people, because they dare to view sex and orientation as anything but the pursuers and the dominated. And until men see anyone who doesn't fit the stereotypical toxic view of masculinity as equally relevant and valuable like they do alpha males, our society is broken. Inherently broken. And I love atheism because we don't have to be a gender role. We don't have to live a godly, natural life, because those lifestyles and life choices benefit one person only, the privileged male. And I read a study lately that the more educated and smart a woman is, the less likely she chooses to become a mother. So the more educated and higher IQ a woman has, she is less likely to be a wife and mother. Why? Because she doesn't need to fulfill a role. She finds her own. She's not a stereotype. She's not a cliche. She's an interesting, complex individual. But the patriarchy villainizes anyone who doesn't protect, defend, and continue toxic standards. Women will never win under the patriarchy, because if you're too much of one thing, you're a failure. And if you're not enough of this thing, you're also a failure. There is no winning, because the patriarchy is rigged. If you're not a cis male, hopefully white, in their eyes, you've already failed. And it's sad that it takes a lack of God and a lack of religion to see how toxic the patriarchy is, because the number one defender of the patriarchy is religion, and it always has been. That's why powerful politicians use religion. If religion didn't create powerful leaders, I pretty much have a good opinion that 99% of the religious politicians wouldn't be religious. They're only religious because it gets them a seat of power. That's why Trump sells Bibles. Because he became president due to the ignorance of religious people and secular people who didn't know fascism if it hit them in the butt. So the patriarchy has always been bad and always will be bad, because it doesn't see the most important assets of society as being equal and as valuable. And when you reject religion, the whole idea of the patriarchy almost falls apart, because it can't survive without the belief that men are born to rule and women are born to serve. Any institution that looks at a group of people as though they're supposed to serve other people because of the genes and the genetics and the gender they are is a horrible group of people. And I reject all gender roles. I reject the patriarchy. I reject any expectation that doesn't line with my passion and my choices. And hopefully in the next 50 years, patriarchy loses most of its clarity and its image and its respectability.